All right, hello everyone, hello students. So in the last class, we started with the very basics of the rate of various chemical reactions. I introduced the rate law expression to you, and I promised in this video, we'll talk about the role of temperature. So naturally, I've given headings like hashtag Arrhenius equation, which will decide how K changes with temperature, role of temperature affecting the rate of the process, because temperature will be changing the rate constant and thus the rate of the process. And this is what we learned in the last class. A moles of A with B moles of B giving products, the rate law expression was rate is equal to K, A to the power some alpha, B to the power some beta, which I told you could be A and B in case it's an elementary reaction, and this K was a function of temperature. So naturally, there are two ways to affect the rate of the process. One, change the concentration of the reactants, which is law of mass action. If you change A and B, rate will change. Another way is change the value of K, but this K changes with temperature. So in this video, we'll want to start with Arrhenius equation. If in great details, we'll see how temperature affects rate constant and the overall rate of the reaction. So let's begin with Arrhenius equation. Where the crude form looks like this. K is equal to A into e to the power minus EA by RT. Minus EA upon RT. So this is how K changes with temperature. This is naturally the rate constant. This is exponential. The exponential, which we use in the arithmetic series. एक्सपोनेंशियल वाला ई के पहले ये कैपिटल ए आता है, तो इसको प्री एक्सपोनेंशियल फैक्टर बोलते हैं. इट्स कॉल्ड प्री एक्सपोनेंशियल फैक्टर. इट्स ऑल्सो कॉल्ड फ्रीक्वेंसी फैक्टर एट टाइम्स. This EA, capital E with A subscript is very popularly called activation energy, which you will know is a constant for any given chemical reaction, and R is the universal gas constant. It's the universal gas constant. It's the same R which you see in PV is equal to nRT. So this is universal gas constant from PV is equal to nRT. Activation energy is constant for a given reaction. Pre-exponential factor is a constant for so many reactions of the same type. Pre-exponential factor is a big factor, it's a big number. It's constant for so many reactions of the same type. This is constant for so many reactions of the same type. E is a number, this is a constant, R is a constant. So naturally these are the two variables. K changes as S changes, K changes as T changes, K changes as T changes. The rest are variables. This is the raw form of Arrhenius equation. I told you this is a constant, this is a number, this is a constant, this is a constant. So basically these two are variables, and this equation tells you how K changes with temperature. It's the raw form of the equation, difficult to work with. So right away we bring log on either sides, and taking log on both sides, you will get log K is equal to log A, natural logarithm to the base E, plus log e to the base E minus EA upon RT, and naturally this will get converted to a form like log K is equal to log A minus EA upon RT. Now this is the logarithmic form to the base E, which is natural logarithm. We'll want to convert it to common logarithm. So what I'll do is, I'll want to remove this clutter. You'll want to copy this at your convenience. I'll maybe start with this form, write the logarithmic form, and then convert it to the more student friendly common logarithm, with the base 10. So you'll want to copy this at your convenience. And then I'm going to write the relevant equations only. It all began with K is equal to A into e to the power minus EA upon RT, and then I got log K is equal to log A minus EA upon RT, natural logarithm to the base E, natural logarithm to the base E. And you know, when it's converted to common logarithm, the multiplication factor is 2.303. So 2.303 log k to the base 10 is equal to 2.303 log a to the base 10 minus EA upon RT. You will want to take this 2.303 common and put it in the denominator there, and it will look like log k is equal to log a minus EA upon 2.303 RT. This is very basic mathematics. Very basic mathematics. And if this was Arrhenius equation, you call it the logarithmic form. This is the logarithmic form of Arrhenius equation. This is the logarithmic form of Arrhenius equation. This is more student friendly. Because right away, for two different temperatures, you could write two different k values. Suppose at temperature T1, if the value is K1, at temperature T1, if the value is K1, at temperature T2, the value will be K2. The rest are constants, mind you, The only variables are T and K. At temperature T1, if the value is K1, at temperature T2, the value will be K2. This will be equation 1, this will be equation 2. I told you the logarithmic form will be easier to work with. And now, maybe from equation 1 and 2, I'll want to derive an equation or a formula which can give me the result right away. So yet again, removing this clutter, we'll want to talk about equation 1 and 2. From the logarithmic form, I get equation 1, K1 at temperature T1, K2 at temperature T2. And suppose if I write 2 minus 1, now log A minus log B is log A by B. So this will give me log K2 by K1 is equal to, naturally log A will get cancelled, and E upon 2.303R could be taken common. Log A will get cancelled, I can take this common, and because it's 2 minus 1, the term involving T1 will be positive and the term involving T2 will be negative. I can rewrite it as log K2 by K1 is equal to EA T2 minus T1 upon 2.303 R T1 T2. It all began with the logarithmic form of Arrhenius equation at two different temperatures, two values of K, and this is a very, very important result. If suppose the activation energy of the reaction is known, you only need to be cautious at one front. This activation energy and R should be in the same unit. I remind this almost every time because so many times this is given in joules and you want to write R as 8.314. If it's given in calories, you will want to write it as 1.987 or almost 2. So make sure these two are written in the same unit, and if you know the value of EA, if you know the value of K1 at one temperature, you can well calculate K2 at any temperature. So it's a very, very common equation. If you know the activation energy of a reaction, you can calculate the value of rate constants at various temperatures. Keeping the concentration constants, log K2 by K1 will be the same as log R2 by R1. So it's a very useful, very student-friendly equation. So many questions are directly framed upon different values of T and different values of K. Allow me to rub this, and a general conclusion would be if T2 is more than T1. Now naturally, if T2 is more than T1, all of this will be positive. If T2 is more than T1, all of this will be positive. Activation energy is never negative. And if everything is positive, this means K2 is more than K1. K2 more than K1 will mean R2 is more than R1. K2 more than K1 will mean R2 is more than R1. So what it tells you is, every time you increase the temperature, K increases, R increases. So right away, temperature is always going to help a process. Temperature is always going to increase the rate of the process. T2 more than T1, all of this positive. I told you activation energy can never be negative. T2 more than T1, all of this positive will mean K2 is more than K1, R2 is more than R1. टेम्परेचर बढ़ाओगे रेट कांस्टेंट बढ़ेगा, रेट बढ़ेगा. टेम्परेचर बढ़ाओगे रेट कांस्टेंट बढ़ेगा, रेट बढ़ेगा. दिस इज अंडरस्टूड वेरी बेसिकली. Mathematically this could be very easily understood. I told you there will be a lot of numericals where you will just need to feed the values. You will just need to feed the values and get the right answer. Let's take up the logical aspect of it. Now, when I talk about the logical aspect of it, we'll want to learn, very fundamental fact about chemical reactions, that for various chemical reactions, reactant becoming product, in the course of the reaction, there are certainly changes in the energy content, and when you plot the energy content at the various stages of the reaction, when you plot energy with reaction or with time, it begins with reactants, ends at products. See, this is T, this is R. A chemical reaction starts at reactants, ends at products. In thermodynamics, you would be told this is HR, this is HP, which is the enthalpy of reactant and product. But when you plot energy versus the progress of reactions, which means you are plotting the energy content at various stages of the reaction, this topmost point is very popularly called the stage of activated complex. In organic chemistry, you also call it transitory state. Now see, this is what happens for a reactant to become product. If this is the energy profile, you call it the energy profile. It's called the energy profile of a reaction. The energy profile of the reaction is always constant because the mechanism is always constant. Until and unless the mechanism is changed, the energy profile will remain the same. Now, if this is a certain energy profile of a given reaction, this is the activated complex. If the process reaches this point or the molecule reaches this point, thereafter the process is downhill. It's downhill. If it reaches this point, it will definitely mature to the product. To reach this point, the amount of energy required, and this is the activation energy. The amount of energy required to reach this point is called the activation energy, and this is where you define activation energy. As the energy required to participate or take part in the process. You would know activation energy is very popularly defined as the energy required to participate in the reaction or in the process, because if it has this much of energy, if the molecule has activation energy, once it reaches this point, it will definitely mature to product. Reactant which reaches this point will definitely mature to product. So the amount of energy required, इसका अपना भी कुछ एनर्जी होगा. जो ये टोटल एनर्जी होता है, इसको हम लोग थ्रेशोल्ड एनर्जी बोलते हैं. जो टोटल एनर्जी होता है उसको हम लोग थ्रेशोल्ड एनर्जी बोलते हैं. पर रिएक्टेंट का अपना एनर्जी भी होता है. सो द एक्स्ट्रा एनर्जी रिक्वायर्ड टू रीच टिल दिस पॉइंट or to participate in the reaction, it's called activation energy, and it's the energy required to participate in the process. Now, what is temperature? Temperature is a measure of the energy content of the system. We all know temperature is a measure of the energy content of the system. Temperature बढ़ाते हैं मतलब we are providing more energy to more molecules. When you increase temperature, you are providing more energy to more molecules. Let's understand it logically. When you are increasing temperature, you are providing more energy to more molecules. So naturally, more molecules will cross this energy barrier. इसको energy barrier बोलते हैं या energy hill बोलते हैं. यही तो uphill process है. When you increase temperature, more and more molecules will gain activation energy. More molecules will cross this energy barrier, and with more molecules participating, the rate of the process will definitely increase. So this is the logical understanding. For any process, for reactants to mature into products, there is an energy barrier, And naturally, increasing temperature is like allowing more molecules, more energy to cross this energy barrier. When you increase temperature, mathematically K2 is more than K1, logically. When you increase temperature, more molecules possess activation energy, more molecules cross this energy barrier, and with more molecules transforming into products, the rate of the process will go up. So this was one aspect of increasing the rate of the reaction, certainly by increasing temperature. Another very popular aspect is use of a catalyst. So in this video only we'll go past that particular concept as well, how catalyst kind of affect the rate of the process. And certainly to talk about catalyst, I need to go back to the logarithmic form of the Arrhenius equation. So you'll want to copy this at your convenience, both mathematically and logically. I could explain increasing temperature is going to mean the rate of the process will go up. And now we'll talk about catalyst. Catalysts are chemicals which change the rate of the reaction. By catalyst, by default, we mean positive catalyst. There could be negative catalysts, but by default we mean positive catalyst. By catalyst I mean something which will speed up a process at the same temperature. And how does a catalyst work? Use of a catalyst. I'll go back to the logarithmic form of Arrhenius equation. Log K is equal to log A minus EA upon 2.303 R T. And this time temperature remains the same. What changes is the activation energy. A very popular myth about catalyst is we grow up learning a catalyst does not take part in the chemical reaction. Now trust me, that is bullshit. It's only for convenience till class 10 or before that, we are told catalyst does not take part in the chemical reaction. But let's be more practical. It cannot be magic. Without taking part in the reaction, how can catalyst alter the rate of the reaction? So what happens in reality is a catalyst takes part in the reaction, changes the mechanism of the process, and is regenerated. So for those of you who would have by-hearted that catalyst does not take part in the reaction, actually catalyst takes part in the reaction. In some form or the other, you would see a solid catalyst becoming liquid by the end of the process, or a metal surface acting as a catalyst having its surface or its nature changed after the reaction gets over. It cannot be magic. A catalyst does take part in the chemical reaction, it's regenerated. And what it does in the process is it changes the mechanism of the reaction. So when it changes the mechanism, it changes the activation energy. At the same temperature, if EA becomes EA prime, K becomes K prime. At the same temperature, if EA becomes EA prime, K becomes K prime. Yet again equation 1 and 2. And this is 2 minus 1. Log A minus log B is log A by B. Log A will get cancelled. And this time 2 minus 1 will mean this will be positive, this will be negative. EA minus EA prime. 2.303 RT. And see, this is what is going to happen. If EA prime is less than EA, which means after adding a catalyst, if the activation energy is lowered, if EA prime is less than EA, naturally all of this is positive, and K prime is more than K, it's a positive catalyst. And just in case a particular chemical changes the mechanism such that EA prime is more than EA, then this is negative and K prime less than K, you call it a negative catalyst. You also need some chemicals to decrease the rate of the process, because so many times you want to protect something from disintegrating. So the use of negative catalysts is also very popular. I repeat, by default though, I mean a catalyst as something which will speed up the process. And how does it speed up the process? It speeds up the process by changing the mechanism. Now, going back to the same energy profile, if it is reactant becoming product normally, with this as the EA activation energy, A catalyst will change the mechanism. A catalyst will change the mechanism if the mechanism changes for good. If the mechanism changes for good, means if the energy barrier is lowered. If the energy barrier is lowered, which means this EA prime is less than EA. If the EA prime is less than EA, how do you increase the rate of the process? Either you supply more energy to more molecules to cross the energy barrier, or you put the energy barrier down. Simple. Either you will want to teach more to students so that they can pass, with better marks, or you will want to bring down the pass marks. The second one always sounds better. तो या तो ज़्यादा मॉलिक्यूल्स को एनर्जी दो जिससे वो एनर्जी बैरियर क्रॉस कर सके, या फिर एनर्जी बैरियर को ही कम कर दो. यही करता है एक पॉजिटिव कैटलिस्ट. पॉजिटिव कैटलिस्ट, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, इट टेक्स पार्ट इन द रिएक्शन. It is regenerated. Positive catalyst changes the mechanism, changes the activation energy. If it is lowered, if EA prime is less than EA, more molecules can cross the energy barrier now and the rate increases. And then there could be a case where, if suppose this EA prime is more than EA, now this is for a negative catalyst. This is for a negative catalyst, it will make the job more difficult. This is for a positive catalyst. I can explain the role of the catalyst both logically with the help of this energy profile, which is for a fundamental one-step process. For real reactions, the energy profile might be a little complicated. It's for a one-step process. But very logically I can see that if the energy barrier is lowered, more molecules can cross the energy barrier. There were two ways. One, provide more energy, increase the temperature, so that more molecules can get activation energy, or two, bring down the energy barrier, decrease the activation energy, which a positive catalyst does. In case it increases the activation energy, you will want to call it a negative catalyst. And certainly, you will want to use this equation in all problems involving the role of catalyst, how the rate changes at a given temperature by the change of activation energy. Yet again, the change of activation energy should be at the same unit as R. The unit of activation energy should be at the same unit as R, and this is how we get oriented towards how temperature or catalyst is going to affect the rate of a process. And certainly with this understanding, when we approach reversibility, because in equilibrium or in reversibility, we are going to talk about a forward and a backward reaction. So certainly when the understanding is very clear in one direction, once you understand the dynamics of process in one direction, you're going to apply the same to both directions in a reversible reaction, and this much is very, very crucial for the understanding of reversibility. I hope this video is going to help you in understanding the role of temperature and catalyst, naturally both of which require Arrhenius equation affecting the rate of the process. In the next video, we'll carry on with these discussions, and then we'll talk about the same for reversibility. So we'll want to recall this, understand this, and then apply this for reversible reactions in equilibrium. This much for the time being. Thank you so much.